You're listening to Thunder and Lightning on SuperTalk Mississippi, covering Mississippi State sports like nobody else. With Sports Talk Mississippi's Brian Hadad and Robbie Faulk of On3 Sports. Now get ready for Thunder and Lightning.
This is Thunder and Lightning here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Brian Hadad and Robbie Faulk here with you on a Friday morning. Thanks for joining us and starting your weekend with us here at supertalk.fm or wherever it is that you get podcasts from. We appreciate you guys out there, our great listeners, especially our servicemen and women out there taking care of us. I want to thank our sponsors over at Strange Brew Coffee House and Churn and Spoon Ice Cream. Start your day the right way with a trip to the drive-thru over at Strange Brew Coffee House here in Starkville or at Brupolo over in Tupelo. Be a little weird, Robbie, if Brupolo was in Atlanta.
Atlanta, Mississippi. The big A.
Yeah.
That would be weird.
That would be a little weird. Wherever you are.
I'm sure you could market something around this little community, though. Where is this?
Where is Atlanta?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not too far from you. It's in Chickasaw County.
Is it really?
Yeah, hold on.
I've never heard of it.
According to this, let me bring her back up here. Atlanta is
Close to Houston,
between Vardaman and what's the next city? Good Lord, Clarkson, basically.
Oh wow,
what road is this?
This is like out in the boondocks somewhere.
Yeah, it's off highway. What highway is this? It didn't even say. What highway is this? Whatever highway runs from Vardaman to Reed. Good Lord. Well, that's Highway 32 there. So it comes off of Highway 32 and then you turn south. And when you pass the Midway Baptist Church, you're about halfway there.
Well, since you mentioned Clarkson, now I'm hungry.
We need to do a repeat of some of our former stops. I would not be against that. So we'll think about that another time. Wherever you are in our great state, you can enjoy Strange Brew Coffee each and every morning, just a click away. StrangeBrewCoffeehouse.com. If you're cooking out this weekend, nothing beats the sizzle of beef on the grill. That's what our friends, the Mississippi Beef Council, want to remind you of. And if you're not cooking out, let one of the great steakhouses across this state do that for you. I am actually cooking some beef this weekend. I'm making lasagna for our friend John Sokoloff for his send-off. And I remembered I had some ground beef from our friend Sam Blakeney down there in Bay Springs. They hooked us up with some of his straight from the hoof ground beef. So I'm going to be cooking that up this weekend, which means automatically that my lasagna will be better than it usually is.
That ground beef, we both got 2 packs of it.
Yes.
It's some of the best ground beef I've had.
I mean, it's
way better than store-bought.
It's incredible, but that's what you get when you buy Mississippi beef. It's the best around. Beef, it's what's for dinner. Thanks to our friends, the Mississippi Beef Council. Two Brothers Smoked Meats in the heart. Nope. College Corner, collegecornerstore.com is the place to find the maroon and white merchandise that you're looking for. You certainly are looking for it. This holiday season, you're thinking about what to put under the tree for that Bulldog or even that Rebel in your life. College Corner has great gift ideas. 2 locations in the Jackson area, Ridgeland by Fleet Feet, Flowood by the Half Shell, or you can shop online, collegecornerstore.com. Restaurant Tyler is Starkville's flagship restaurant for lunch, dinner, or Sunday brunch. The best meal in town is always at Restaurant Tyler. You don't need to have a special occasion to eat at Restaurant Tyler. It is the special occasion. When you tell your friends and family, hey, we're going to dinner tonight at Restaurant Tyler, you've created a special occasion, and you're going to get a great meal. The best steaks in town, pasta, chicken. If you're a vegetarian, they have great options. And, finish that dinner off with my favorite dessert in the city of Starkville, the delicious stuffed pancake. I will probably be eating one in about a month or so. Unfortunately, I will be paying for it at the rate this pick'em is going. But that's okay. That's okay.
You paid for my Restaurant Tyler last. I paid for your Restaurant Tyler.
You paid last year because I won.
Time for me to return the favor, my friend.
Why do I get the feeling Robbie kept that receipt and has been looking at it every day like the Rocky IV training montage? He's just sitting there on his mirror.
I'm going to leave no doubt.
Yeah.
What's the biggest blowout we've ever had in this? It hadn't been with me and you because.
Oh, I got Joel by 7 games one time because he went big on the last weekend to try to catch up and he missed them all.
So would this be this far out from the season ending? Would this be the largest lead?
Yeah, it's up there. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 4 is big. Yeah.
I'm not satisfied, my friend.
Yeah.
I am not satisfied. I need more. And there's a chance for more this weekend, too.
Robbie's going to be climbing the stairs at Davis Wade Stadium. Hey, Dad! So, yeah,
Stuffed pancake!
It could go wrong for me this weekend. It never goes wrong, though, when we eat at restaurant, Tyler. Priority One Bank, 16 locations to serve you throughout central Mississippi. Let PriorityOneBank.com be your guide and show you not only where they're located, but how they're going to help you invest, manage your money, and prepare for the future. Now more than ever, when you have a question about your money, you can't afford to wait. Can't afford to wait around for an answer. You don't have time to be on hold. You don't have time to talk to people who don't know you. You need to talk to the people who do know you at Priority One Bank. They understand the difference between being a community bank and being one of these big corporate banks. They give you everything those corporate banks give you, but they also give you the service that you're missing when you deal with them. Let Priority One Bank make you their priority. It is Friday. That means it is the 3 Ps, brought to you by our good friends over at Sanders Rentals. Whenever you are looking for a game day rental here in Starkville, if you're tired, if Nick Fitzgerald is listening, Nick, I saw you complaining about hotel prices in Starkville. I get it, man. It's a racket. You need to talk to my buddy Will Sanders. He'll hook you up with an awesome cottage, all the amenities at a much, much better price. That's who you need to call. Sanders Rentals, 662-769-1412. Whenever you need game day lodging or any lodging on the weekend in Starkville, they've got great cottages just off of campus. They're going to give you, double the space, double the amenities, at half the cost. That's a great deal. You can't pass it up. When you need to stay in Starkville and you're tired of paying those ridiculous hotel prices, call Will Sanders, 662-769-1412. Mississippi State, Tennessee, Robbie. A matchup that is two teams that are similar in style from an offensive standpoint, right? Heupel, Lebby from the same, the Art Briles tree, shall we say. Their offenses want to look similar. You can make a pretty strong case that in SEC play, State has been a little bit better than Tennessee on the offensive side of the ball. They've been a little bit more consistent. Tennessee has struggled at times offensively in SEC play. Defensively is where the biggest gap is, and that's true for almost everybody State plays. But this Tennessee defense, it's surprising almost how good they are, because under Heupel, you think that's a program that's going to score a lot of points and they'll do enough defensively to win. Instead, they're winning with defense this year, and to me, that spells trouble for Mississippi State, because State is doing the opposite. State is losing with defense this year. So that's where the biggest difference in these two teams is.
It is, and that when you think Josh Heupel, I like defense isn't the first thing that comes to mind, but it's such a well-rounded team. I think that's the mark of a really healthy program whenever both sides of the ball can be elite. And I mean, the offense has struggled a little bit at times. It's still a top 10 offense nationally. It's one of the best rushing attacks in the country, but this defense has been really good. I'm just going to read out some of these numbers. First in the country in third downs. Teams are getting third downs 24% of the time. Second in yards per play. Third in red zone defense. Teams are scoring 64% of the time, which is an amazing number. Teams aren't even, able to make field goals consistently, it seems like. Like, you're just not getting points that often. Mm-hmm. Fourth in total defense. Fifth in scoring defense. They're top 5 in total in scoring defense. Sixth in rushing defense. Ninth in first downs and tackles for loss.
These are national numbers, not just SEC numbers, correct?
I believe that's right. I could be wrong, but it's national. It's national.
Okay. Goodness.
So only 5 times this year has a team had a play over 30 yards against this defense. They do not give up explosives. This is the second best in the country, by the way. This team defensively is really, really good.
Now read State's numbers.
No thanks. This is a family show. Yeah. I don't want to start delving into that. So, and I really don't want us to lose our YouTube privileges. It's a team that I think defensively is much better than they are offensively, and I still think this offense is really good. But that's been the key for them. They're not giving up points in the 20s in these ball games. They have been really good up front, which is kind of where you start everything. Missing one of their best defensive players, but this is still a great defense. And that's going to be the issue for State, because it really feels like it's going to be difficult for them to get off the field defensively. And when that's the case, you better be striking possession for possession on offense. And I just don't think that those opportunities are going to be high for Mississippi State. I don't think there's going to be a lot of those chances for the Bulldogs to score. So this is going to be it's a really difficult matchup. It really is. Maybe even more so than the other two games that they've played on the road against top 10 teams. This is a good Tennessee team. This has been one of my picks for, the dark horse national championship team. They haven't really been playing at their best in recent weeks, but I'm really high on this Tennessee team. They are a team that's still capable of doing everything that they want to do, winning an SEC championship, winning a national championship, making the playoffs, all that stuff. This team still has everything in front of them, even after losing to Arkansas. So it's a tough matchup in every area.
The stat you didn't mention that Ben McKee brought up with us yesterday, and he was correct. Tennessee's played 8 games this year. They've knocked out 7 quarterbacks. Jalen Milroe is the only quarterback to play the whole game against Tennessee. Now, no, we're not talking about, guys have come out and come back in, but you're almost guaranteed your quarterback's going to miss a series against this Tennessee team because they're just so relentless with their pass rush, and that defensive line is just so good. And so, State's offensive line, State has kind of succeeded offensively this year when they have, in spite of their offensive line. And they've made some big plays, but there's never been a point this year where I was like, man, the offensive line's really playing well. This is going to be their biggest test to date. And they've had some big tests against Georgia and against Texas A&M, and offensively you had some numbers. But by and large, it has just been a struggle there. I got a text last night when I was doing Thunder and Lightning Live, and this is a good point, and it bears mentioning. The question was, if State plays the way they played against Georgia this Saturday, can they win? That's a yes. If they play the same kind of game they played against Georgia, get a couple of turnovers, get a couple of stops, and offensively do enough, there's no reason at the end of this game State can't find their way to be, in it, to be have a chance to win.
Even defensively?
Well, I mean, even defensively, yeah. I think that
if Tennessee is able to score 41,
then you're going to lose. But what I would say is you would have a chance, right? State was down 10 in that game. They lost by 10. They had some opportunities to get a couple of more stops. Offensively, remember, they started that game awful. And then they finally picked it up. They had a little bit more success in the first quarter. It might have been a little bit different game. I would say that, I'm not saying they got to do the exact same thing. They need to improve upon a couple of things. But if they play at that level, they are capable of going up there and getting a win.
If they play second half, if they play how they did in the second half against Georgia all game.
They play a complete game, yes.
Yeah. The first half is what killed them in the first possession of the third quarter.
Yeah.
It killed them. If they're within striking distance after the first possession of the third quarter, like if they were down by 7-10 points after that first possession, they probably beat Georgia. But they dug themselves in a hole. That's what you cannot do in this game. We always talk about we've talked about it mostly like with basketball, like getting the upsets on the road is like staying in the ball game in the first half. And it's the same in football too. Staying in the fight in the first half, you weather that first wave that you get from the fan base and you get from the home team getting that energy that they get when they come out of the tunnel. When you weather that and you get into the locker room and it's a tie game, or maybe if you have a lead or something like that, that's when you're truly in the fight and you truly start to believe, okay, we can do this. The first half is all about surviving. When you go on the road into an atmosphere like this, you have to survive that first half. You go down by 3 touchdowns on the road at a place like Tennessee, it's going to be very difficult to come back from that. There are exceptions to the rule, like the Auburn game in 2021, but it just doesn't happen that often when you go on the road. You don't get down by 17 plus points on the road and win in this conference.
Yeah.
So for State to have a chance in this game, to have a game like they did against Texas and Georgia, I think they really need to win the first half. And winning the first half to me is even being down by a touchdown. If you can be down by 7, 10 points, something like that, you've won. I believe you've won the first half. Because at that point, this is a 24-point spread.
Mm-hmm.
You're on pace to cover again, and then you can kind of chip away from there. That's kind of how you have to look at it. And this is a sucky way to look at games. Like the way that we've looked at games this year is not how you want to. That's not the mindset you want to have, but it's the mindset you have to have right now with Mississippi State. We're not going into these games outside of Arkansas in the last few weeks and UMass, obviously. We're not going into this game talking about, whether or not State's going to win. It's kind of like, can they just have a chance to be in the game in the fourth quarter? That's just where we are right now. And for State, surviving the first half is the key.
Some good news for Mississippi State on the injury report. Mario Craver listed as probable for this one. So State should have all of its weapons available on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, still kind of putting it together on that defensive line. Calvin Dinkins, obviously, out for the season. I think Kedrick Bentley-Jones at this point is probably, I don't know if he's coming back yet or not. So State's still kind of piecemealing it together. Trevion Williams and DeMonte Russell was listed as probable, correct?
Yes. Trevion's off.
That's good news. Trevion's off.
Trevion played last week. So
He did. Yeah. So it's full.
I was a little concerned by Kevin Coleman. He was injured the other day, but I think he came back in the game, so he appears to be good to go. It looks like State's going to be virtually at full strength offensively, unless something changes with Craver and we start to see him go to doubtful and then out. We'll see. But I think he had a boot on last week, so I don't know for sure if he's going to play.
Mm-hmm.
But judging by the probable status, you would think we'll just have to see. It would be nice for State to have every offensive weapon they can possibly have.
Yeah, I agree. For MSU, to me, the key to victory is just sort of what you said. The first half is just the key, right? Because if you're down 17, 20 points at the halftime whistle, the game is going to be getting away from you in the second half. But if you can stay in it and keep it close, you just don't ever know what's going to happen. And again, in this Tennessee team has already lost to a bad Arkansas team. And people are going to say, well, they killed State. That doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
State's bad too. Bad teams beat up bad teams literally every week in this sport.
There's something called matchups. Some teams are worse matchups than others. I mean, it's not, it doesn't really equate week to an opponent to
it's
opponent.
Just people like, I remember a couple years ago I made a comment about Will Levis. So I said he's not very good. And some Kentucky fan screenshot at the score of the game where they had beaten State. And I was just like, dude, crappy quarterbacks have been beating State for 4 decades. That doesn't mean the fact that he beat a bad Mississippi State team doesn't mean anything.
And he wasn't the one that
same thing here.
The Rodriguez, the running back, had 200 yards rushing.
Yeah, never mind that way Levis played in that game. I'm just saying, that game had nothing to do with my analysis. And same thing here. Yeah, I can say Arkansas is a bad team because they are. They beat Mississippi State because Mississippi State is a worse team. That doesn't mean anything. So that said, there have been so many upsets this year in the conference. A bad Kentucky team went to Ole Miss and wins. Vanderbilt is able to knock off Alabama. Kentucky only lost to Georgia by 1 point. So there have been some upsets this year. I still think State can get one, but it's going to require an outstanding effort. And something going back to what we talked about on Monday or on Tuesday about what Lebby was saying about Mike Van Buren, and we all think, hey, this young kid's playing really well. Lebby says, I'm challenging him to play better. That's what they need. They need Van Buren to have a game where the national media is going, wait a minute, who is this guy? Where did he come from? We've been talking about him a little bit, but now he's really making a statement. You need to have a game from Michael Van Buren where he is absolutely in control. If you can get that and you can just get enough defensively, maybe 2 turnovers and 2 other stops, then you might have a chance to win, to be in this game and maybe even win it.
Yeah, and Van Buren's been really good on the road. Sorry, trying to make sure I don't sneeze.
Please don't sneeze.
I thought that Texas, he, late in the ball game, made some plays for him. Georgia, he really grew up. That felt like a game where it was like a turning point game for him.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how he handles this. I mean, he's been in 2 really raucous environments now.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is going to be the most raucous. Georgia is a very good environment, but to me, Neyland is top 3 in the league.
I would agree that Neyland is a tougher environment. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, you're going to have 100,000 people in there. You're going to have the lights, the pageantry, the fireworks, all that stuff. It's going to be a very difficult environment. Easily, to me, the most difficult environment he's played in.
Mm-hmm.
Can he just manage those? The early game jitters and the crowd noise, and because they've had some trouble with delay a game and things like that. Can he kind of get over that hump early? That's something he struggled with at Texas and Georgia, was getting off to a really good start and getting Mississippi State in the end zone. Now, I always go back to that LSU game in 2014 for State, and it's kind of my template for winning a game on the road in a tough environment. And State drove down the field early in that ball game and scored a touchdown. That's, to me, that early success is so big when you pull off upsets on the road. Getting that early lead, getting down the field early.
It's the absolute key. You're correct.
I think that first possession, State started with a ball every game this year, if I'm not mistaken.
You're correct.
Which is insane. And scoring a touchdown on those first possessions has been very difficult for this team. They've scored a touchdown, I think, twice in those first possessions. Eastern Kentucky and A&M. They scored against A&M.
First possession against A&M. It was 7-0. Yeah.
So that's so key for me, is I think they need to get down the field and score on the first possession and get an early lead.
One thing I always think about upsets is it's tough to come back in an upset. Kentucky did it against Ole Miss. They went down 7-0, but that was a low-scoring game. I would think 90% of the time an upset starts with the underdog scoring the first point. So we'll have to see if State can do that this weekend. Let's move into our Playmakers and prediction. That's brought to you by the good people over – the good people? I don't know what a pleeple is. Pleeple? Yeah, the good people over at Pip Printing and Signs. Reliable service for every business need. The message of your business, how do you get it out there? You have to do it through printing, and that's what every business does. But if you're not spending your money with the best, you're wasting your money. That's where Pip Printing and Signs comes in. Go to their website, pipridgeland.com. They can do a much better job than I can of showing you it's not just printing. It's not just, here are some flyers. It's a whole wealth of services that they can offer you. Then you give Cam Baker a call. Say, hey, heard about you on Thunder and Lightning. Heard that you give 10% of my sale to the Bulldog Initiative if I do business with you. Let's put it together. And you go from there, and you're going to have a relationship with a printing company that gets the message of your business out, that keeps customers coming in the door for as long as that relationship can last. Call Cam Baker at 601-499-5216. When you need printing, call Pip today. College Corner, collegecornerstore.com is the place to find the maroon and white merchandise that you are looking for. And I know that you are looking for it. And I did say College Corner because I cannot get this thing out of my head. I'm telling you, it's just ruined me. I gotta write this down. I think I need a script. I need
just to get it going. Just so we're professional for once.
Yeah.
Let's just have a list that we can follow.
We might need to do that. It's just my brain is just the way it's wired. I'm trying to unwire it and it's not working. Two Brothers Smoked Meats in the heart of the Cotton District is the place to find the smoked Southern soul food that you are looking for, and you certainly are going to be looking for it. Whenever you're in Starkville, you want to have a great meal. I can't stress how much you should go to Two Brothers Smoked Meats. It's just fantastic. And if you want to try Starkville's best new restaurant, it's just right across the street over at the Older Brother, the home of the fancy sandwich. What's a fancy sandwich, you say? You need to go to the Older Brother and find out. Have a great meal in the Cotton District at Two Brothers Smoked Meats or at the Older Brother. Great products, great service. Every business likes to promise it to you. They deliver it to you at Advantage Business Systems. That's what they've been doing for 50 years. 50. When you need business technology, give them a call. If you need a new copier, new printer, new computers. Then, if you need service, it's the same number. It's not a 1-800 number. It's not being on hold for 45 minutes. It's not an appointment with somebody from out of state, and they'll be there in a week to 10 days. Imagine if a printer stopped working at your business. Could you go 10 days without your printer? That's what a lot of those places are going to tell you. Not with Advantage Business Systems. 601-362-9192, or you can visit them online, absms.com. Find out how Advantage Business Systems will help your business do business. Before you go to the games in Starkville, you need to go to Maroon & Co. Anytime you're in Starkville for football, basketball, baseball, for whatever, a trip to Maroon & Co. before the game starts is a must. Whenever you are in Starkville and you need MSU gear, that's the place to go. They have the biggest and best selection that you're going to find. Use our promo code Thunder15. You'll save 15% off regular price items. Some exclusions do apply. Before you go to Davis Wade, before you go to Duty Noble, before you go to the Hump, make sure you go to Maroon & Co. Offensive playmaker, Robbie Faulk, who you got?
I'm going to go, sounds like a cop-out. I'm going Michael Van Buren. To win a game on the road, especially in this league, quarterback play has to be really good. And this is going to have to be the game of his career. I mean, he's going to have to play the best game he's ever played to give Mississippi State a chance to win this game. I don't think they can win this game without Michael Van Buren being great. So that's my guy.
All right. I think, yeah, I got to stay with you on that one. I'm trying to talk myself into it, but everybody else feels like they would be an X factor at best. But yeah, I think Van Buren's got to be over 300 yards. I don't think he can turn the ball over. He needs to play it even better than he did against Georgia. And that's going to be a very tough task against this Tennessee defense. But if for State to win, that's how I like to look at these. What does this person have to do for State to win the game? That's what you got to have to get from Van Buren. He's going to have his best performance of the season. What about defensively? Do you have anybody?
No, I'm still out on the defense.
You're still going to abstain.
Last week, I think I said Isaac Smith, maybe Stone Blanton.
We're just maybe. Sure.
I just have no faith that this defense is going to be able to consistently stop an SEC offense.
You're correct.
Until proven otherwise.
Yeah.
I can't.
I got you.
Can't go there.
All right. I'm
Do
with
you have a defensive playmaker?
I will not be picking a defensive playmaker.
Okay.
I'm with that. What about an X factor? Who do you think that could be?
I'm going to go with Johnny Daniels for my X factor.
Okay.
The last game, I think he had 6 carries for 95 yards or something. I would like to see him get the ball a little bit more. He runs very physical, runs through tackles, hits the hole extremely hard. Fun guy to watch. And I think he's going to have a good game in this ball game for Mississippi State. And just like Van Buren, for State to be successful, for State to win on the road, they've got to be able to have a lot of success running the football. So that's going to be my guy here is Johnny Daniels. I think going to be a little more physical than Davon Booth. This is a defense that's going to be physical. You're going to need him to be able to, as Jeff Lebby would say, get through the trash. So that's going to be my guy on my X factor.
So we're on the same page, but I am going with Davon Booth. And I'll tell you why. Daniels, as you mentioned, I think I'm a more physical runner. State needs big plays. They need explosive plays. And Daniels has given them some, but Booth is a little bit more of the big play guy to me. So I could see him, if he could get loose on a couple of runs or get loose on a pass. I think he plays a bigger role in the passing game than does Johnny Daniels. So Davon Booth is going to be my X factor in this one. We've spent the past 30 minutes explaining how we think State could possibly do it. But what's your actual prediction there, Robbie?
I think it's going to be a blowout.
Yeah.
I mean, that. I just
yeah.
I don't have faith that State's going to be able to go into a place like that. And I think Josh Heupel is not going to be a guy that's going to run up the score or anything on Jeff Lebby, but it will be out of hand in my opinion. And I'm going to say Tennessee 48, Mississippi State 17.
Whew. All right, I'm going to give State just a little bit more points on the board than you, but I'm on the same path, and I think I'm going to be a late touchdown. I think State can make it where the bettors have to sweat the last few minutes, but I'm going to go 49-24 as my final score in this one.
That will, I believe, be the first time Tennessee has given up over 20 points.
It will be, but I got faith in Van Buren and those guys to get there. I'm going to give them credit. So 49-24 is my final. All right, we got a lot to do next week. We'll obviously have our normal Sunday show, or Monday show, as you were. Regardless, if State does pull off an upset, it will be a later show, as you know. I will be at Boomtown Biloxi on Sunday to watch Saints Falcons, so please come out, hang out with me. $20 all you can eat and drink. I mean, if you like wings and beer, and I'm telling you, you can have all the wings and beer you want for $20. You cannot beat that deal. So come by Boomtown Biloxi, watch the Saints with us. So we'll do that. Of course, we've got post game on SuperTalk's YouTube channel and on On3's YouTube channel. You can catch up with me or Robbie, whichever one, or listen to both. Listen to both. And then we'll have that. And then back to it. A lot to do next week. Also, next week's another bye week, which means another bye week blitz. Interviews already set up with Coach Sam Ricketts and Coach Chris Lamonis. We'll talk about what's happening on the two diamonds later this year, next year when we do those interviews as well. So it should be a great week on Thunder and Lightning. Looking forward to being with you. For Robbie Faulk, I'm Brian Hadad. Thanks for listening to Thunder and Lightning here on Super Talk, Mississippi.